Welcome to the deep dive. You sent us a whole bunch of stuff on Refex Industries,
Yeah.
financial reports,
Uh-huh.
press releases,
Yep.
even a stock exchange filing.
Interesting.
Clearly, you want to get this company figured out, like,
Fast.
fast. So think of us like your shortcut.
Yeah. It's a fascinating company to really dig into.
Right.
Refex Industries is an Indian company, and they're kind of all over the place with sustainability stuff.
Yeah.
Everything from handling coal ash to electric vehicles.
It's true. At first glance, I was like, wait, what? What are they doing?
Yeah.
They're in these, like, heavy industries.
Right.
But then also EVs, which are like, the new hotness. It's like
Yep.
they're balancing the old and the new world at the same time.
Yeah, it's a very interesting mix.
But for today, we're going to really zero in on how they did in Q2 of fiscal year 2025.
Okay.
We'll see what's making them tick and, get a sense of where they might be going from here.
Sounds good. A good place to start, I think, is their overall financial picture. And the good news is they're doing pretty darn well.
Okay, give us the highlights.
Okay.
What kind of growth are we talking?
So their revenue,
Okay.
it jumped almost 50% from the same quarter last year.
Wow.
That's massive for any company, let alone one that's working in so many different areas.
That's true.
And their profit, PT, as they call it,
Yeah.
it's up over 60%.
Okay, so far so good.
Right.
But I did notice something in the reports.
Mm-hmm.
Their EBITDA margin is down just a bit.
Yeah.
Now, I know EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Right.
But for those of us who don't, speak fluent finance, can you break down what that margin actually tells us? And, why should we care that it's down, even though revenue and profit are both up?
Yeah, you're definitely right to point that out. It's an important detail.
Okay.
EBITDA margin, it basically tells you how much profit the company's squeezing out of its main operations. So even though their profit is up, that shrinking margin means their costs are going up faster than their revenue.
I see.
Could mean a few things. Maybe competition's getting tougher,
Yeah.
or they're having to invest more just to, keep growing.
So not a red alert,
No.
but definitely something to keep an eye on as we dig deeper.
Exactly.
Which is a perfect segue to the next part of our deep dive.
Right.
They're different business segments.
Okay.
They've got a lot going on, as we've said.
They do. And some are doing better than others.
Right.
Which is always the case when a company's got its hands in so many different things.
Okay, well, let's look at the numbers from their Q2 FY25 report.
All right.
And let's start with the big one.
Okay.
Ash and coal handling.
Okay.
Brought in a whopping 407.81 crore rupees.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. But remember that crazy overall revenue growth we talked about?
Yeah.
Well, this segment isn't quite keeping up with that average.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if, this older part of their business is kind of
Right.
hitting the ceiling.
Interesting point. Okay. Next up, we've got refrigerant gases, which brought in 13.63 crore rupees.
Okay.
Might not be their biggest moneymaker,
Mm-hmm.
but it's important for their, whole sustainability thing.
Definitely.
Plus, they get bonus points for being one of the first in India to offer refrigerants in those, disposable cans.
Oh, yeah. That's a cool little detail.
Right.
That tells you something about how they approach things. They're thinking practically, and they're adapting,
Yeah.
which are both good signs for a company that's trying to find its place in a growing market.
Exactly. It's not just about talking about sustainability. It's about doing something.
For sure.
Speaking of doing something,
Okay.
let's move on to the area everybody's excited about.
Let's do it.
Green mobility.
Okay.
So they pulled in 7.85 crore rupees this quarter.
Right.
Still a small piece of their overall business.
Yeah.
But it's growing like gangbusters. I know the EV market in India is booming, but what are the specific challenges and opportunities they're facing there?
So the Indian government has these really ambitious targets for EV adoption.
Okay.
And there's definitely consumer demand,
Uh-huh.
but there are also some big roadblocks.
Yeah.
The charging infrastructure, for example,
Uh-huh.
it's still developing.
Uh-huh.
And there's more competition popping up every day.
Oh, wow.
So Refex is in this high-stakes race.
Interesting.
They could definitely capitalize on this growth,
Yeah.
but they've got to be smart about how they handle these challenges.
Yeah, I'm already seeing how this deep dive is going to be about way more than just understanding the numbers.
Totally.
It's like understanding the whole picture, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every number tells a story.
Okay, on to power trading, where they made 91.81 crore rupees. And they're already one of the top 10 power traders in India by volume.
Wow.
That's got to be a tough market to break into.
Yeah, you're not kidding. The Indian power sector, it's a real balancing act. You've got public and private companies.
Yeah.
They're constantly trying to, make sure supply and demand are in sync.
Right.
It's also super regulated with its own set of rules and challenges.
Yeah.
The fact that Refex has gotten so big so fast, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Suggests they really understand this complex market.
Okay. And finally, we have the other category, which brought in 6.55 crore rupees.
Okay.
Not huge.
Right.
But, got to acknowledge all the data, right?
Absolutely. Especially when we're trying to get that complete picture of how they're doing.
Totally. Every detail matters.
Yeah.
So we've covered the basics of how each segment is performing, but I'm itching to go beyond just the revenue numbers.
Okay.
What other juicy info did you find in these reports?
Okay.
What about investments, expansion plans, stuff like that?
Well, get this.
Okay.
They just got their credit rating upgraded to A stable by Acute Ratings Limited.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Why is that a big deal?
That's a huge vote of confidence from lenders. It basically means they're seen as less risky, which makes it easier and potentially cheaper for them to get money for future projects.
That makes sense. So a good sign for their growth plans.
Exactly.
What else?
Let's see. They also secured a pretty big working capital loan recently.
Okay.
Now, they haven't said exactly how they plan to use the money, but it definitely tells me they're gearing up for something big.
Right. Like they're getting all their ducks in a row.
Yeah.
For some major moves.
It seems that way. Oh, and they also got shareholder approval for a large equity and warrant issue.
Okay, hold up. For those of us who need a refresher, can you remind us what that means and why it matters?
Sure. So basically, they're putting out new shares of stock and warrants, which are kind of like options that give investors the right to buy shares at a set price in the future.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common way for companies to raise a lot of capital quickly, and then they can use that money for, all sorts of things.
Like what?
Like expanding their operations, maybe buying other companies,
Yeah.
or investing in new technology.
So they're in expansion mode.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, and it's not just about raising money either.
What else?
They just bought one of their subsidiaries outright.
Okay.
It's now fully owned.
Wow.
That move shows they're strategically consolidating,
Interesting.
which tells me they have a very clear vision for where they want to go.
We've talked numbers,
Yeah.
but I'm curious about the people behind the numbers. What stood out to you about Refex's leadership team?
One thing that caught my eye was the managing director, Anil Jain. He started his career incredibly young.
Really? Talk about starting at the bottom
Yeah.
and working your way up.
Impressive, right? What about the chief financial officer?
Yeah, what about him?
Dinesh Kumar Agarwal. He has this track record of raising huge amounts of capital,
Interesting.
which fits perfectly with what we're seeing in their recent moves.
Right. So we've got the young, ambitious leader paired with the seasoned financial expert.
Pretty much. What's your overall impression of the team? Do they seem like they can handle this next phase for the company?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
From what we've seen, they seem solid. Their expertise is all over the place, finance, sustainability, operations.
Yeah.
Which makes sense given how diverse Refex's businesses are.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how their leadership guides the company moving forward.
Right, especially with all this new funding and expansion they're going for.
Exactly.
I think we've laid some great groundwork here.
Yeah.
We've got a clear picture of Refex's financials, their different businesses, some insight into their leadership. What do you say we take a closer look at the qualitative side of their performance next?
Let's do it. Let's dive into what they're saying and, just as importantly, what they might not be saying.
Ooh, I like that. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the numbers down, but numbers only tell part of the story, right?
Right. They don't give you the whole picture.
Exactly. So let's shift gears a bit and look at the qualitative side of Refex's performance.
Right.
What's the feeling you get from their messaging, the overall tone of their communications?
Well, if you go through their investor presentations, press releases and stuff, they're definitely projecting a lot of confidence, optimism.
Yeah.
They talk a lot about their commitment to sustainability,
Right.
their growth, their strong leadership team.
Yeah.
Kind of a classic success story narrative.
Makes sense given their, good financial results.
Yeah.
But are there any subtle hints of concern or potential challenges like lurking beneath that optimistic surface?
Well, there are always risks and challenges, right?
Yeah,
Especially in markets like India that are changing so fast.
sure.
One thing that stood out to me was their discussion of the EV market.
Okay.
Now, they're definitely bullish on the potential there,
Uh-huh.
but they also admit that they need more robust infrastructure,
Right.
and they're facing more and more competition. It's a subtle way of saying that success in this area isn't a sure thing.
Okay, so a touch of realism amidst the excitement.
Exactly.
What about the power trading segment? Any whispers of worry there?
The power sector in India,
Yeah.
that's a beast.
Uh-huh.
Lots of regulatory hurdles,
Right.
energy prices going up and down all the time.
Yeah.
Refex does talk about their strong relationships
Okay.
with state discoms.
Now those are the...
Those are the distribution companies.
Okay.
They're the ones who get electricity to consumers.
Got it.
But navigating this landscape,
Mm-hmm.
it takes constant vigilance.
Right.
You got to be adaptable.
Yeah.
It's a high-stakes game for sure.
So we've got potential challenges in EVs
Mm-hmm.
and power trading.
Yeah.
Anything else setting up a red flag?
Not necessarily a red flag,
Okay.
but something worth noting is how they talk about optimizing coal trading operations
Okay.
by focusing on coastal areas.
Mm-hmm.
This suggests that they might be running into some logistical challenges
Interesting.
or cost pressures when it comes to transporting coal inland.
Right. So like even in a seemingly straightforward business like coal handling, there's
Definitely.
always stuff to manage
Oh, yeah.
and optimize.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk more about the people making these strategic decisions.
Okay.
The leadership team.
Right.
We touched on the managing director and CFO earlier,
Yeah.
but what about the rest of the crew?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the team as a whole?
They seem to have a good mix of like seasoned veterans
Okay.
and fresh talent,
Uh-huh.
which is a good sign.
Yeah.
And their expertise, it covers a lot of different areas.
Uh-huh.
Finance,
Mm-hmm.
sustainability operations,
Yep.
human resources.
Wow.
This tells me they've put together the right mix of skills to manage this diverse portfolio of businesses.
I was particularly interested in their CHRO, Pervesh Kapadia.
Oh, yeah.
He's been instrumental in making Refex a great place to work, according to their reports.
That's awesome.
It is. That's not easy to achieve in any industry.
No, it's not.
Let alone one with so many moving parts.
For sure. Investing in your employees is a smart move.
Absolutely.
Creating a positive and supportive work environment, it can really make a difference in the company's success.
And their head of ESG and sustainability, Gagan Bihari Patnaik, has some seriously impressive credentials.
He does.
It looks like they're actually putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to sustainability.
Yeah, they've definitely gone beyond just talking about ESG.
Right.
Having someone with his level of expertise leading the charge,
Yeah.
that sends a strong message that they're serious about their commitments.
Okay, so just to recap,
Right.
we're seeing a confident and optimistic tone in their communications,
Mm-hmm.
a few potential challenges to watch out for,
Right.
and a leadership team that seems prepared to handle the complexity of their business.
Right.
Anything else we should be paying attention to at this stage?
One more thing that jumped out at me was their emphasis on technology.
Oh, interesting.
They talk a lot about their digital transformation efforts. They're using data analytics, GPS tracking for their fleet.
Yeah.
This tells me they're really embracing technology
Yeah.
to improve efficiency,
Mm.
reduce costs,
Okay.
and gain a competitive advantage.
Which makes sense. I mean, we're seeing that across industries, right?
Oh, yeah. Companies are realizing that technology isn't optional anymore.
Right.
It's essential if you want to stay ahead of the game.
So what do you make of it all so far? What's your overall take on Refex Industries?
Well, they're definitely a company in motion.
Yeah.
They're performing well. They're growing fast.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making strategic moves to capture new opportunities.
Right.
They've got a good leadership team.
Mm-hmm.
And they're embracing technology.
Yeah.
But they're also facing some challenges.
Right. Especially in those EV and power trading segments.
Exactly.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out in the long run.
It will. But now comes the most important question.
Okay.
What does all of this mean for you, the listener?
Yeah, exactly. It's not enough to just understand the company.
Right.
You need to be able to apply that knowledge to your own situation.
Absolutely. So let's get practical.
Okay.
Talk about some key takeaways.
I like it.
First, let's say you're an investor.
Okay.
What should you be watching closely with Refex?
Yeah, what should they be paying attention to?
Well, their growth is impressive, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But sustainability is going to be key to their long-term success.
Okay.
Keep a close eye on how they manage that evolving EV market in India and the complexities of the power sector.
Right.
Are they adapting and innovating to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah.
That's what will determine whether they can turn this early success into lasting value.
Good point. Now, let's say you're a business leader in a totally different industry.
Okay.
What lessons can you take away from Refex's journey so far?
One of the biggest takeaways, I think, is the importance of balancing growth with sustainability. Refex isn't just chasing profits. They're actively trying to build a more sustainable business.
Yeah.
That's a powerful message for any leader. Think about how you can integrate sustainability into your own operations and decision-making.
Yeah.
It's not just about doing good. It's about doing good business.
I like that. Their willingness to embrace new opportunities is also pretty striking.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't just stick with what they knew.
Right.
They went for it in new and challenging markets.
They did.
It's a good reminder that sometimes you got to take calculated risks
You do.
to achieve big growth.
For sure.
But it's not just about taking risks for the sake of taking risks.
Right.
Refex carefully analyzed the market. Okay.
They found opportunities that aligned with their strengths, and then they made bold moves.
Right.
That's a valuable lesson for any entrepreneur or business leader.
Now, what if you're someone who just cares about the future of our planet?
Mm-hmm.
What does Refex's story tell you?
I think it offers a glimmer of hope. They're showing that sustainability and profitability don't have to be enemies.
Right.
They're proving that businesses can actually play a positive role in fighting climate change and creating a more sustainable future.
Yeah.
It's an inspiring example that will hopefully encourage more companies to do the same.
I love that perspective. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Refex Industries, we want to leave you with one final thought, something to really ponder.
Right.
As you continue to explore this company and its place in the world.
Imagine you're at the helm of Refex.
Ooh.
You've got a strong foundation, a talented team, and a clear vision.
Okay.
But the world is changing fast.
Right.
And the stakes are high.
For sure.
What bold move would you make to make sure Refex keeps succeeding and keeps having a positive impact on the world?
Wow, that's a fantastic question to end on. We've given you the information, the insights, the analysis. Now it's your turn to take that knowledge, think critically,
think big,
and imagine the possibilities.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Wow, that is a challenge you've left us with.
Yeah.
Imagining ourselves leading a company like Refex.
Right.
It really makes you think about the weight of those decisions and how they affect not just the company, but the whole world.
Yeah. It's a great exercise because it forces you to go beyond just analyzing the company as it is today. You know?
Right.
It makes you think about the potential, the challenges, and how you would navigate all that to shape its future.
Exactly. It's about taking all this information we've gathered and turning it into something we can actually use.
Actionable insights.
Yes. So to help with that, let's play out some scenarios for Refex.
Okay.
Let's start with the EV market.
Right.
They're already doing some cool stuff there.
Yeah.
But what could they do to really become the leader in this space? Well, one option could be to focus on partnerships.
Okay.
Strategic ones.
Yeah.
You know, they could team up with charging infrastructure companies.
Yeah.
To make it easier for people to charge their Refex EVs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They could also partner with other companies in the sustainability world.
Like?
Maybe solar energy providers.
Okay.
Battery manufacturers. And create this integrated package for consumers.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
They could build a whole ecosystem around their EVs.
Yeah.
Make it like a one-stop shop for all things sustainable transportation.
Exactly.
Okay, what about the power trading segment?
Okay.
Tricky market to navigate.
It is.
But they've proven they can hang.
They have.
How can they take it up a notch?
Remember how we talked about how complex the Indian power sector is?
Yeah, with all those state-level distribution companies.
Yeah, all those discoms.
Yeah.
One bold move could be to try and partner directly with them.
Interesting.
This could give them a more stable income stream and a stronger foothold in key markets.
I see what you're saying. That's pretty smart.
Right. It would be a win-win.
Yeah.
Refex gets a reliable buyer for their power, and the discoms get a reliable source of green energy.
But we've also talked about how important sustainability is for Refex's brand and their future.
Yeah.
What kind of big moves could they make to really show they're committed to sustainability?
One really impactful move could be to invest a lot in research and development,
Okay.
but specifically focused on closed-loop solutions.
What do you mean by that?
Like, imagine if they could figure out how to fully recycle all their products,
Wow.
create a true circular economy within their own business.
That would be pretty amazing.
It would be a game changer for their sustainability image,
Yeah.
and could even create new ways to make money.
Okay, now that's thinking big.
Right.
Yeah.
It would send a clear message
Mm-hmm.
that they're serious about actually doing this sustainability stuff.
Not just talking about it.
Exactly. And remember, they already showed they're willing to be innovative.
Yeah, like with those refrigerant cans.
Exactly. This kind of out-of-the-box thinking
Yeah,
could really set them apart.
totally. Especially in a world that's demanding more and more sustainable solutions.
For sure.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into Refex Industries,
Okay.
I want to leave you, the listener, with one final thought.
Yeah.
We've explored their strengths, their challenges, some potential ways they can grow.
Yeah.
We even pretended to be in charge making those big decisions.
We did.
But the real value of all this is what you do with this information.
Absolutely. It's about taking these insights and using them in your own life.
Exactly.
Maybe even sparking new ideas of your own.
So whether you're an investor, a business leader,
Yeah.
or just someone who cares about the planet,
Right.
Refex's story has something for everyone.
For sure.
So keep learning, keep asking questions,
Keep digging.
and keep pushing yourself to think differently.
That's how we make the world a better place.
One deep dive at a time. Thanks for joining us,